Leaving the US feels like an escape plan. Cheaper rent feels like a cheat code. It feels like the one variable that, if you could just control it, the whole equation of your life would finally balance. Because in America, rent doesn't just take your money, it takes your plans, it takes your sense of timeline, it takes your ability to think past the next 30 days. So when people see life abroad for $400 and $600 a month, the brain fills in the missing fantasy. I could breathe again. I could think again. I could build again. And that's the emotional hook that launches the move. Not because people hate the US, but because they lost the ability to plan inside of it. Picture this moment. You're in your apartment, you're packing, you sold off the furniture, cleaned out the closets, deleted all your old emails, you closed accounts, and you're telling yourself, the second I land, my life restarts. And for a while, it feels true. Lower cost of living, sunlight, beaches, time to think, your nervous system unclenches. For the first time in years, you feel like your life isn't chasing you. You feel like you bought back a future. This is the promise. Cheaper rent equals reclaiming control. And that promise is powerful. Powerful enough to move someone across a planet. Then your first renewal comes. No screaming, no announcement, no improvement to the building, just a quiet message. Rent will increase next cycle. Not enough to leave immediately, just enough to force the feeling again that you're temporary. I can't anchor here. This place isn't mine. Those kind of feelings. The same feeling you left the US to escape. And you start to notice the pattern. Neighborhoods converting into Airbnb corridors. Landlords recalculating prices based on what expats can afford because they make dollars. Locals being priced out while newcomers unknowingly are resetting the market. Rules written for owners, not for the renters. Stability replaced with rolling permission. It's cheaper, yes, but cheaper isn't freedom if it's not secure, because the numbers got smaller, but the volatility stayed the same. Here's where the trap actually forms. When you move abroad for cheaper rent, you often can't build credit, you can't qualify for loans, you can't get long term leases. Well, you can, but they're not as easy to get. Visas tie survival to income. Banks won't anchor you into the economy. And you live on contracts that reset stability every single year. So even though you're paying less, you're also owning less. Your cost of existing is lower, but your ability to project into the future isn't higher. And projection, which is the ability to say, this will still be true 6 months from now, is the foundation every plan is built on. So it's not about rent, it's about the ability to plan on top of it. At first, moving abroad feels like restarting life from zero. But eventually, you realize something. It keeps you at zero. Every year is a new adjustment. Learning rules again, navigating bureaucracy again, restabilizing income again, adapting to price changes again. The cycle becomes stability, disruption, rebuild, stabilize, disruption, over and over again. It feels like progress because the cost is lower, but progress isn't about cost, it's about compounding, stacking years instead of resetting them. You didn't move into a new life, you moved into a permanent beginning. Here's the truth the move forces you to confront, and everyone has to face this. You didn't escape the system, you just found another place where it runs. It's not about America or abroad, it's about how modern rent structures turn time into a subscription. And when time is rented, not owned, you can't build a future. You can only rent it in 30-day intervals. That's the trap. Leaving the US doesn't fix the problem, it just reveals it. Because once the noise is gone, you can finally see what the struggle was actually about. And it's not the price, it's not the geography, it's not the culture. It was about the inability to anchor, to set yourself. Cheaper rent, yes, it's a relief, but stability is a foundation. Without foundation, you're not relocating, you're floating. And floating can feel like freedom, right up until you need a place to stand.